Now here's a game that I didn't think I'd be doing a video on because I didn't think I'd get to play it until launch, but here we are. I managed to get into the closed beta for XDefiant, and I think that's where we start with this, is the fact that I can talk about it on day 1 or day 2 whenever this is uploaded, about my thoughts and feelings about the first couple of hours of playtime, with no embargo. It shows a very good side of Ubisoft and the team behind XDefiant by saying, yeah, you can show whatever you want, you can stream whatever you want, you can display whatever you want to your audience and say whatever you want. It shows a level of confidence in the product, and I appreciate that. The fact that we can just come out here and make content on this game. Anyway, let's get into the game itself. Now, there are some issues and some concerns about it, but overall I was incredibly surprised with XDefiant. I originally saw it back when other creators like Big Fry covered the game, and I wasn't impressed at all. It didn't really look like anything unique or solid to play. I didn't really like the art direction or the direction of the narrative with the factions, and to an extent I'm still a bit iffy on that, but what I played today was a lot more cohesive and solid, and the gunplay, for one, was really good. There are a few in-between animations that need polishing up. Switching between primaries and secondaries, for example, has a bit of jitter, but the actual gunplay and reload animations and hit registration for the most part has been absolutely solid. There were some server issues at the start, and I'm sure the servers will be better when the game comes out of beta, of course, but apart from that, it's been pretty great. Hits feel like they're hitting like they should. Recoil patterns don't feel too artificial like they do in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They feel good. And the gunplay overall did keep me coming back and wanting to spawn back in and get into the fight and take people down. That's one of the biggest compliments I can give it, is that I didn't expect the gunplay to feel this good. Guns actually feel weighty, and I appreciate that. Maps as well have a lot of variety in their location, their art style, and even though it creates a bit of tonal dissonance between the semi-realistic and grounded factions in the game that the devs are trying to create, and with the maps that seem very colourful and vibrant and kind of all over the place. For example, you can go to theme parks and museums, and there's all sorts to fight in. It feels a little bit weird, but I can't deny there is a lot of variety in the maps. It's not particularly something that I find myself drawn to narratively or in terms of setting, but they have enough cover, lanes and flanking routes and different locales to keep me wanting to come back and to explore the maps even further in different modes. As for modes, there are quite a few to test out in this beta. There's no ranked play, unfortunately. I mean, that's coming in the full game, that's fine. But we do have the normal modes with payload, domination, all that good stuff. I think there's 4 or 5 in total, and there's a fair bit of variety here. I'm sure this comparison has been made thousands of times, but this game really does remind me of Black Ops 3 and Overwatch. Overwatch in terms of kind of its gameplay flow and the flow of coming in and out of games and the game modes themselves, and Black Ops 3 kind of in terms of the feel and vibe of, say, the kill camera of yourself after you die, and the movement feels very much like old COD. I'm not sure if XDefiant is coming in as a competitor to Call of Duty. As I said, I haven't really caught up with it. I just jumped in today, but if it is, I mean, it could be fairly solid and it's free to play, so. But I can see myself playing this for the coming weeks because there's enough content there in maps and modes to keep me coming back. And also the Battle Pass, which is your standard Battle Pass, to be honest. There's nothing too exceptional about it. There's weapon skins, there's character skins, etc, etc. Now, we did have a couple of issues with the tick rate with XDefiant. I think it's the tick rate anyway, it might be just normal server issues, I'm not sure what the tick rate is, but I did find that I was killed behind cover a couple of times. I would slide into cover and then die once I've got in there. That was only maybe a couple of times in my 3 to 4 hours of playtime, but to be honest, it wasn't anything too bad. I mean, I have the same issues with Battlefield 2042, but usually I'm in that game in massive modes with 128 players, so you can kind of accept it and everything feels a bit more hectic, and sometimes you don't notice it. But with a smaller team size, like an XDefiant with 5 or 6 players on either team, you do notice it a lot more when you're in 1v1 fights and you get into cover and you die after you get in there. It can be very frustrating. I hope that gets sorted out. Now, I'm sure this game is trying to cement itself as a competitive title, and although I haven't experienced all of the balancing yet, it seems like there is a little bit of work to be done there. I felt some of the SMGs were incredibly strong in my playtime, especially the Vector. Some abilities seemed not too well balanced, but I'm not really going to comment too much on that at the minute. Each faction has their own ability, and some of them, like the flamethrowers, seem incredibly strong, but I haven't had time to play around with all of those yet, so I'll try and refrain a little bit from talking about that. But I could see this becoming a competitive game, to be honest. We'll see how the ranked system works, but I'm more of a casual player myself, so I won't delve into that too much, but it has potential for sure. The actual pace of the game is very fast. It's faster than I thought it would be. As I said, reminds me of the old Black Ops games, and it has that addictive loop. This isn't a Rainbow Six competitor, obviously it's Ubisoft so it wouldn't be, but for people who think this might be the next competitive slow-paced shooter, it's not. It's not the next Battle Royale either, it's trying to be a very tight and fast-paced 5v5 or 6v6 small player-based game which can have a competitive environment, and I respect that. Obviously this is a beta as well, so there will be a few issues to encounter, and for sure there were a few visual glitches with stuff popping in and out and things rendering through walls, but overall it wasn't too bad at all. There was nothing game breaking in my time, and apart from the server issues at the start where I couldn't even get into the game for the first hour, after that it was pretty smooth sailing. We'll have to see how the servers hold up over the next 10 days, but I'm sure it'll be fine. But I think one of the main big deciding factors for XDefiant will be its future support. This game is going to be free to play, so it's all based on how they decide to monetize it, how much content it gets given in the future, and how much support and for how long it gets. If people don't play it and don't buy into it, well, of course it's going to get dropped. But we'll just have to see how it goes. And I'm kind of glad to sit on the sidelines here of a game that I'm not that invested in. I'm enjoying it at the moment for sure, but it's not something I'm going to be following as religiously as I do with 2042. But it'll be fun to jump in every now and again for sure. I'm going to keep playing this game for the next 10 days or so as the beta is ongoing, and I hope to keep enjoying it because today was a bit of a blast. That's not to say it was a seamless experience. There are a couple of issues that I have with it outside of the stuff I've already mentioned. For example, the game time and loading is way too long. Matchmaking takes a couple of minutes, and I'm assuming this is just a beta thing, but it does just take too long. I'm sitting there for ages, and even getting into the game took a while. And it seems like it's building a lobby for a while, and then choosing maps takes quite a while for the voting phase, and then starting the game takes another 30 seconds. It's a long phase of entering a game. There's a couple of UI elements that also cross over on the screen, like when you get bonuses for kills, and the actual starting cinematics for maps seem like they're in 720p quality or something. They seem compressed. They don't seem like they're actually in-engine, which is fine, but I thought that was worth mentioning that they look a little bit iffy. Anyway, thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy these thoughts on XDefiant, it was a little bit rambly because this is just me jumping off of my first session of a couple of hours into the game. But if you did enjoy, consider subscribing and liking. It helps me out more than you think, and it's free. If you like the look of XDefiant from this gameplay, let me know in the comments below. What do you like about it? Or if you don't like it and think it looks like it's a generic COD ripoff, let me know as well. Let me know what you don't like about it. I'd love to hear more discourse about this because, once again, I'm sat here in my little YouTuber bubble and I haven't really heard anyone's commentary on this game yet. I've just been playing it for myself, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.